It's NTT IndyCar Race Weekend, and you know what that means. Hey, when they race, we race here first. It's time for some top split action in the 2024 IndyCar iRacing Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gonzo, and welcome to Race First coverage, sponsored by 4D Racewear of round 3 now of the 2024 championship. As today we come to you from the streets of Long Beach for one of the crown jewels of all of IndyCar racing, the Grand Prix of Long Beach. As always, joining me for expert analysis in the booth, he's my teammate and regular participant in the IndyCar Fix Series, coming to us live from his remote studios in Mexico City. Please welcome the boss, El Patron, Antonio Estrada, and joining us as our road expert for the remainder of the season, he is a member of Satellite Racing, which we will see in action today. He is an Indy 500 champion from the Major Series. You've heard him before on GSRC and Apex Racing TV. Today he joins us for ISS coverage, like I said, for the remainder of the season. Coming to us from Scotland, please welcome Ryan Walker. Guys, we've already heard the big thing this weekend is going to be the new tire, the Wishlists tire. We see right there on Jaroslav Sindlar's car with the, it looks yellow, but it's actually a green sidewall. Beyond that, what else do you guys have in store, you think we have in store for today's race? A long race, though, 85 laps. Go ahead, you first there, Antonio, and then we'll hand it off to Ryan for the opening comments, for his opening comments.
Sure. Hello. It's great to be back here with IAS, and great to be back at Long Beach. Such an iconic location, such a beautiful track, and a very tricky one at that. It's unforgiving, as pretty much all street circuits. Whenever you make a mistake, well, that's gonna be the wall that you're gonna be finding out there. As for the tires, the Wishlists tires, they basically acted in a very similar sense to what we had with those alternate red wall tires. So it's going to be quite similar in that regard. And, typically Long Beach is not a place where you can make very many passes. So a lot of it's going to come through strategy. I can imagine a couple of folks are going to be starting on that, on the alternate tires, the Wishlists tires. And then we're going to see some others up to go through the primary ones, have them last as long as they can, which they last a little longer. There is around 15 to 17 laps. That's where they kind of equal out. And with such a long race, I think it's going to be a lot more about strategy. And then once those tires are, especially the Wishlists tires, whenever they are spent, they are spent. So you better be very careful on what you're doing with them to avoid spinning out. And Brian, great to have you here. What do you got?
Yeah, first of all, guys, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. I do like my IndyCar racing, and Long Beach is it's such an iconic track, especially in the IndyCar scene. It's one of those tracks I could laugh around all day on iRacing, watch old races on YouTube. Things to look out for. I think me and Gary were talking about it, especially last night. The push-to-pass situation as well. You only get, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 10 push-to-pass. So you have to be very, very careful and use them wisely. If you're on a fuel save run, so trying to stretch the run as long as possible, you've got to think about how to use that push-to-pass, but time it wisely, because if you use it too much and you're on a fuel run, it can mess up stuff like fuel calculations, and it can kind of just throw your strategy out the window, if you like. So something for these drivers to think about. But with it being 85 laps, I think basically fatigue can take a toll as well. So don't be surprised if some of these drivers start losing concentration and possibly end up clipping the wall.
We got 2 minutes left to play here in qualifying. Hildegard, your teammate, right to the top with a 105.9. Kraus P2, Kerry P3. Andreas Eich, yes, I want to be like Eich. He is in P4. And Christian Steele making his first appearance here on one of our broadcasts in a while in P5. My man Porcelli in P6. Jacob the Warman Oster in P7. Forlon Blaze Andrich is in P8. Matsuda, good showing in 9th. And Troy Ano in 10th. 1 minute 30 left to play here in qualifying. 85 laps today at 1.96 miles. The race is going to be 167.28 total miles. The top split today is a 42.33. Today's coverage is sponsored by 4D Racewear. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in today's description. We want to thank them again for their continued support of IndyCar and IndyCar on iRacing. All the IndyCar records you need to know about Long Beach, well, here they are. There's 2 of them. You have the kart track record set by Jill DeFerrin in 1997. 1977 on the old course with a time of 51.2932 seconds. Of course, that course is not what we're representing today, but if you are an old-time sim racer, you have raced on that old course in either IndyCar Racing 1 or 2. That is my favorite course as well. In the current track record set by Colton Herta, just last season, I think it was a 105.3097 seconds. So Colton Herta, king of the beach. But actually, he's really not the king of the beach, because the undisputed king of the beach is Al Unser Jr. He has 6 wins here, including 4 in a row from 88 to 91. The next closest to him are Paul Tracy and Mario Andretti with 4, with Mario's 1 win coming in 1977, which was a Formula 1 race. So we'll go ahead and count that one anyways. 17 seconds left to go here. We're getting ready to wrap this up and go racing. Remember, 100% length races here for the IIS this season, 85 laps. So we're going to be in for a long day, probably 2 stops.
Yeah, for sure, 2 stops. And I just saw that Kevin Burrell was able to make his way to P4. He hadn't set a lap. He did it just in the nick of time, because otherwise he would have to start from the back. And, that's a little bit problematic at a place like Long Beach.
Yeah, it is. Especially with a field this big, there will still be guys probably just clearing the hairpin while the front 4 or 5 rows are actually starting to take the green flag at this time. So we are lining up.
Yeah, and even getting close to turn 1, like that hairpin takes a lot of time on that formation lap.
And we get the short lap today, so they're lining up on the backstretch. Everyone's kind of taking their last couple of seconds here before gridding up to determine what tire they want to go with.
I'm seeing the top 6. That's Hildegard, Kraus, Curry, Burrell, Ike, and Steele. They're going to be starting on the primary tire, so expect them to go as long as they can. And then we have Porcelli there, P7. He's going to be starting on the alternate tire. He's the first one that is taking that alternate strategy.
Yeah, waiting for
Warman, Hendrick, Matsuda, Troiano.
Yeah, I'm waiting for everyone to load in here. Still seeing a number of cars haven't loaded in for me, at least.
Yeah, only a couple in the grid so far.
Oh, there's Phil Kraus. So he is loaded in. There he is. Oh, get a good shot right there, TV3. Nice job. Good-looking private label car. Team hype there. And he is on the Waiuli tires. That's a good look for the Waiuli tires right there. It's a green sidewall. It looks yellow, but it is green. And there is Kerry with Power Slide lining up behind him. He is on row 2. And let's get the starting lineup in here as we're loading on here.
Yep. All right, so with a super fast time, the only one actually in the 105s, that's Christian Hildegard. He's on the pole, 105.9. He's joined by Phil Kraus with a 106.0. So they're very, very close. Starting in row 2, it's Brian Carey and Kevin Burrell from Satellite Racing as well. Then row 3, it's Andreas Ike and Christian Steele. Starting P7 is David Porcelli. He's joined by Jacob Oster. Starting 9th, we can find Blaise Andrick and Hayato Matsuda. I'm going to go quickly here.
Go.
We have Eric Triano 11th, Ben Newman 12th, Philip Kraft 13th, Kevin Parrish in 14th, Mark Orrick in 15th, Alex Kraus 16th, Matt White 17th, Chris Bowman 18th, joined by Craig Forsyth in 19th, Matt London 20th, Aaron Barta 21st, Anders Sember 22nd, Jason Green 23rd, Jaroslav Sindelar in 24th, and we're going green.
There we go.
Almost got them all.
I kind of thought I was having a problem. They were waiting to the last possible moment to load in. I was thinking,
there's a contact. Ooh, Porcelli and Ike. Oh no.
Yeah, and they're all wadded up at the fountain.
Yeah, that's gonna block the track actually.
Yeah, and that's something you've got to be careful on lap 1, is especially it's like real life. In the real life race here in IndyCar, the cars are so bunched up. There's always a good chance there's going to be a bit of a concertina effect, and unfortunately, it's happened.
Well, let's go back a little bit of time. We'll watch we'll rewatch the replay here. We're watching Andreas Ike right now going into the and he snapped around. Something happened. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened. Let's ride on with his...
Yeah, I'm not sure either. It looks weird.
It looks net Cody somehow. So here we're riding with him over his shoulder. And it just comes right around. I'm not sure really what happened there.
Yeah, I'm just watching from my my
okay,
view.
okay. There was a hit for Porcelli, but it was he just clipped the wing, and the wing was enough to violently throw that thing around. That's unfortunate. That should just be a kind of a lost wing on Porcelli, and it shouldn't really have impacted Andreas Eick. But man, out already.
Yeah, two heavy hitters, Porcelli and Andreas Eick, already out of the race, and a couple of guys as well, Mark Orrick, Chris Bauman, Sandberg, Green, Sindelar, Ali Bay, and Aaron Barta also in the pits, because it ended up being like a blocker in the track.
Yeah, and we almost got that yellow, didn't get it. We are watching a bit of a three-car breakaway. The remainder of Satellite Racing is still going. Christian Hildegard and Kevin Burrell, P1 and 2. Phil Kraus there in P2, running these guys down. Brian Carey, Power Slide Racing in P4. Four-alarm Blaze Andrich, he is in P5. As now the field is starting to get a little separated. Here's Christian Steele in the I5G Marlboro throwback. Not a bad one, I like it. And Heio Matsuda, one of our lead Japanese drivers. He is up to P7, up 3 spots. Blaze Andrich up 4 spots. Troiano up 3 spots. There is Troiano coming through, heading back towards the aquarium.
Sorry, Gary. I was doing a little bit of research on what's going on. Why do we have so many cars in the pit lane? But it turns out there was a second incident where I think it was... Last guy, Matthias Forssell? No. Aaron Barta, he spun in turn 8, and that collected 6 additional cars. So there's a reason why we have so many cars.
We're down to 18. Yeah, I think we're down to actually 21 running out of the 27 that started.
Yeah, unfortunate, but we were talking about it. Whenever there's an incident, you're going to be met with the wall, and that happens. It gets blocked, and you really don't have anywhere to go, anywhere to run to.
Nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide, just like the song. All right, let's tell you a little bit about how our overlay is working here. We've got a new overlay if you never watched the program before up until today, or if you watched this in the past on just IAS coverage, we had an older overlay. We do have Raceverse, what I call 1.5, and it's a new overlay there. So as you see the tree to the left, the green highlight around the Raceverse logo indicates track condition. We are green. The purple number on the position is the driver with the purple lap. So we track that as the race goes on. Right now, that is Phil Kraus. As other people set the purple lap, that number will float up and down the tree. But right now, it is currently held by Kraus and P2. The top 10 are always shown. And the positions 11 through 27 will then cycle below P10. I have had feedback asking, and here we're going to have a battle for the lead going into 1. No, Kraus just tucked up there, giving Hildegard a little bit of grief going into the corner, now into the fountain. We have some feedback already that we've given our dev that people would like to see like a little white divider line there, and we will get that done. So that is the new overlay. And also down in the follow me, you'll see the last lap in terms of time. You'll also see their I rating. Christian Hildegard, 6.4K. And a 499 safety rating. Of course, everybody I expect to have big I ratings in this top split race. That's going to be down in the lower corner. And that's pretty much about it. Kind of basic. We do have another overlay, which I'm going to call Raceverse 2.0, and that will be much more involved, much more what I would consider NBC or IndyCar on NBC kind of quality. And we will debut that, all things go well, at the fixed Indy 500 top split here later next month. 5 of 85 in the books, guys. What are you seeing out there? Anybody that any other battles that we should be looking at?
I mean, right now I'm keeping my eye really on Phil Kraus, who's hounding
Here he is.
Fielder and actually making a move and taking the lead.
Cleanly makes the move.
Yeah, I was about to say that he was. Sorry, Ryan, that he was the meat in a satellite racing sandwich, but now he is on point.
And this is the thing as well. Like, I wonder. I was watching the Christian there, and he looked like he just let Philip go by a little bit too easy. So I wonder if Christian is deciding it already at this stage of the race, this early stage of the race, if he's going to go on a fuel save run and just basically try and stretch out this first stint out as long as possible before making his pit stop.
We expect right around lap 28. If you're going to do a two-stop, getting to 28 will be the number you're looking for, more than likely. We saw a lot of people doing just that. I kind of previewed the 4 p.m. Top split race yesterday, and that seemed to when the first stops happened. I don't know if anyone is going to... we need a lot of yellow in order to do a one-stop race, so I don't know if anyone can really pull that off. We need a lot of yellow.
I don't think you can.
A lot of yellow.
There are really, realistically, no yellows in IIS, so that's not going to happen. Because there are no yellows in iRacing.
Well, we almost got one on that first lap. We almost did. Because the yellows are controlled by, according to the rule set, the yellows are controlled by iRacing, and we almost got one on that first one. The track was just enough blocked that I was thinking, oh, here comes the yellow, and we did not get it. Let's go. What's that?
Is that a new thing?
I thought the rules are always that the yellows are thrown by iRacing on official races. Because I've seen it before in other official races on road courses that we've had. I could be wrong. Hey, if I'm wrong, chat, let me know. Julian's in chat. Julian, tell me. Julian will always quickly tell me when I'm wrong. And let's go through the field a little bit to see where some of these aces of the iRacing sport are. Kevin Burrell currently third. Ryan Carey, power slide by himself in fourth. Blaze Andrich is in fifth. These big gaps here are mainly having to do with the incident on the turn one incident at the fountain. Go right ahead. Yeah,
there is a big group there with Alex Crow, Craig Forsyth, and Matt Wyatt. They're all together also at Matt's Lundy there.
Okay.
They are very, very close.
There we go.
And Forsyth almost got into Crow, had to get a little bit off throttle to avoid hitting entering turn 11, the hairpin. They're very close to each other.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm looking at Forsyth's livery, and I do like it. It has a bit of the, I'm probably stating the obvious, but it's giving me throwback vibes to the old Forsyth racing liveries that used to run in the IndyCar days.
That is correct. I raced with Craig a number of times. Of course, he's sponsored by the same sponsor that's sponsoring the program, 4D Racewear, and been racing with Craig for a while. Not related to the Forsyth family that saved Long Beach from the clutches of that NASCAR for us here recently, but he took all the credit on Facebook, I think. So. Thank you, Craig. Right behind him, we have a battle for position. Looks like Matt White, as Craig a little bit with the Pruitt fade, blocking. He gets the position. Matt White there in an NTT Ganassi throwback. We saw Alex Palou in a similar livery a couple years ago. Whereas Palou is going to be in the DHL livery that we've seen with Andretti Motorsport or Autosport now for the last couple of years. Watching Matt White there with a 4.3 KI rating. Not bad.
And Matt's Lundy just behind him. Matt White, he had a choice of going to the inside of Forsyth there, but decided not to do it at the moment. He lifted entering one. So, yeah, probably a smart move.
And that's the thing with Long Beach as well. You're behind someone and you know you're quicker, and it's so frustrating. But you can't really.
Somebody wrecked.
Got a debris on the truck.
Somebody had an issue.
That's Jason Green. He was one of the damaged cars already.
There was a green car out there that was that Jason. That's Jason Green. Yeah, he's not having the greatest day, and he's got a 5.1 KI rating, so I'm sure he's pretty frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone in this split is really, really good. So,
well, the interesting thing is, and I think we're looking at it right here in the battle with Crow and Forsyth and Matt White and Mads Lundy. They all have very high ratings. I think Craig is the 25th highest I rating in the lineup, and we started with 27 cars. But the thing is, he races these cars all the time. And so that's one of the reasons why he's able to hold off these guys with higher I rating than he is. It's because his familiarity with these cars is critical. I mean, we've talked about it before, but we'll get into it more right here. Remember when we were talking about a lot of the oval guys were coming over on the Fontana race? Remember that last time, Antonio, and a lot of those guys that were just in for that one oval race were screaming to the front while the regulars kind of floated to the back because, well, they kind of knew what they're doing, because they knew any IndyCar race automatically when the green flag gets thrown becomes a fuel savings race. So that's the first thing. But also, practice makes perfect with these cars, and if you're in these cars a lot, you definitely have a good feel for them, and you definitely know how to use the tools best versus someone that doesn't drive these things all the time.
100%. Like, we were mentioning back there in Fontana, we knew that the guys that went to the back, they did it on purpose. They wanted to be in the back. Because you avoid craziness, you avoid having to burn more fuel, you avoid damaging your tire, you do a lot of things. And it's kind of the same thing here. You know the nuances of the car, and somebody like Craig, who has been running these cars forever and has been in multiple leagues, I've had the chance of racing with him. He's a super clean driver. He knows, again, the nuance of these cars. So yeah, that's how you can keep some folks with that was very close.
Alex Crow gets sideways a little bit, and I thought that was going to open the door for Craig, but Craig was, I think, checked up a little bit. Everyone behind him kind of checked up too.
Yeah, Matt White, I'm just checking now. He's just used one of his push passes, so trying to get a run on Craig, but
yeah, he's down to 8 now.
Yeah, down to 8 push to pass now, so got to be careful.
Yeah, when you were mentioning that, Ryan, at the beginning of the race, it's like, yeah, you only get 10 push to pass for the entire 85 laps, and I don't think we had any other track or any other place where it made like such a difference. Like, you have to be so strategic on when you're going to use them, because if you don't make a pass, you just wasted one of those precious ones. And I think that just happened to Matt White. Like, he expected to be able to make a move entering turn 1 on Craig Forsyth, but he wasn't able to. So now you're actually down 2 because he's in 8 of them. Especially to be able to defend at some point during the race. It's very interesting to see how they're going to be using them.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing as well with the push to pass. It's like I said at the start of the broadcast, you've got to think about if you're on a fuel saving run, you can't afford to just use the push to pass up all the time. Otherwise, you're just messing up you're messing up your strategy. And I think I'm just checking the top 3 as well at the front. The only person that's used a push to pass so far is Kevin Burrell.
Yep.
He's on 9 push to pass at the moment. So the only one of the top 3 to use has used one of his push to passes right now.
Watching kind of a battle now for 5th spot between four-alarm Blaze Andrich, Christian Steele, and Heyo Matsuda. That is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. They're all in pretty close proximity to one another at the moment.
Yeah, and Hayato is really, really fast. He has been running more of these IndyCar races lately, and he's one of the top drivers on he's from Japan, clearly. And but yeah, he's been doing great, and it's very, very cool to see him here riding just behind Christian Steele from one of the established teams, Team I5G, one of the larger teams, and going to battle with him.
I do like if I5G is going to use throwback liveries for what they're going to run at Indy this year. I like that idea. If that's an idea you guys are going to use, I do like that. It would be cool to see an I5G car with instead of like the Marlboro or maybe a Pennzoil one, maybe an I5G Domino Hot one. That would be really cool to see. If you guys are going to do that, make the Indy 500 even more special. That would be really cool if you guys did that. As for Hayato, He, of course, is from Japan. He's one of the lead Japan drivers that we've seen in the series, one of the regulars here. As you know, the general, Kevin Burrell, has relocated to Japan, and just a sense of kind of building community, and that's kind of what we do here in the IndyCar and the iRacing IndyCar community, and we do have a good sense of community here. Kevin and Matsuda have actually met up in Japan and have done some dinners and whatnot just to kind of put a face to the name. And anytime you get a chance to do that and build community in the series, build camaraderie, is always a good thing. And it also builds trust with your fellow driver as well, not just having to build that trust on the racetrack, but once you get to know someone personally, it also helps knowing that person personally when you're racing against them on the racetrack. 15 of 85. Go right ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that that's so cool, and I'm so happy that they go to meet each other. And in the meantime, while we were talking about that, Seal was able to make it by Blaze Andrick, so move Christian Seal up to 5th, Blaze Andrick to 6th. And we're getting near that point where, the alternate tires are going to be, not the best.
Well, so, and that's right on cue, because Andrich is on the Waiuli tire, while Christian Steele is on the Prime tire. In fact, he is the highest ranked Prime tire driver at the moment, currently in 5th spot. Everyone in front of him are on the Waiuli. Now, the bad news for him, he's going to have to switch to the Waiuli at some point. The good news for everyone else ahead of him is they will switch off to Waiuli and probably not use it anymore after their pit stop. But if you enjoy Race First coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing while you're at it. Don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcast. And tomorrow we will be at Gateway one more time for the Dark Horse DW12 Series as they head to Gateway for their appearance there. That's tomorrow at roughly 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Check us out on Race First. Back to the action here. 16 of 85 in the books, and we're about 12 laps away from the pit stop window opening up.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at the front from my end as well. Philip Kraus has managed to open that gap up to Hildegard quite significant. It's not a big
Here's a battle for 10th, right, guys? Sorry to not cut you off. Here's a battle for 10th brewing. We got Kevin Parrish in the AJ Foyt Santino Ferrucci throwback from last year's Indy 500, the red, white, and blue car. If you remember that, remember the roar of the crowd when he took the lead there late in the 500. He's driving that. That's Kevin Parrish. And Phil Kraft here. He is currently 10th, and right now this is a battle for a top 10 spot.
Yeah, and Parrish is he's on the Waiuli tire actually.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where we see the Waiuli tire kind of giving the Prime tire some difficulty, which makes me wonder if did maybe Kraft kiss the wall somewhere, maybe has some damage that we can't really see. These cars are, if you're just joining and you're not really familiar with IndyCar racing on iRacing or just watch it here generally on a Race First, these cars, they can get damaged very easily, the floorboards of their cars, the underneath portion, and that we can not see. Yeah, we don't see that at all.
Yeah, and they are so sensitive. Like, a small bit of damage that's probably going to be able to take a 10th or 2 tenths away from you on your lifetime. But Parrish keeps getting closer there.
Kraft a 5.6K I rating, very impressive. Kevin Parrish 3.8K I rating, just over the border from me from Club Ohio. Of course, right now, no spoilers, so please don't post anything in chat or whatever. I think the NTT IndyCar Series is actually qualifying in Long Beach right now.
Yeah, they should be.
I think it was 2 o'clock, 2 something Eastern. So something to look for. The real boys are racing here for real this weekend. Whoa, here's a battle for position coming into 9-10. He just kind of looks like Kraft kind of overshot the braking zone there.
and I wonder if Apparel uses push to pass to try and get by.
And we'll ride with Kevin. He does not have push to pass activated. You would know if it was activated because there are a couple of green lights that be flashing on his steering wheel, and there'll be a green border around his LED readout there, the Pi readout in the center of his wheel.
And while this is going on, I was taking a look at the leaders, and I was just like, okay, Phil Krause just turned on the afterburners. He just did a 107.7. But from second and back,
yeah, he has. The 107.5 is a purple lap, so yeah, he's smoking. But go ahead, Chris. We're watching Christian Hildegard right now.
Yeah, no. So I mean, this time it's a little closer. Hildegard with a 108.1, and Phil Krause again in the 107 brackets. He's the only one doing that. 107.8. He's super quick and consistently doing that. Like you were mentioned, Ryan, he was around a second away a couple of laps ago. Well, he has opened that up to 2.7, almost 2.8 seconds now.
Yeah, and I think as soon as Philip got by, he's just decided to try and build that gap as much as possible before the pit stop, because of the size of the pit lane around Long Beach. You probably think, oh, it doesn't look that long, but when you're on the pit limiter, it feels like an eternity. So I think Philip wants to try and build that gap as much as possible, and maybe when they make the first round of pit stops, try and maintain that track position.
Looks like Lundy was able to make it by Craig Forsyth there for P14.
And that Coke sponsored car. You used to drive a Coke sponsored car.
I did. I used to do that, yeah.
Well, I think that's when I met you. You were driving the Coke sponsored car there.
Yeah. I have since switched to a Pepsi one. Don't tell anybody. That's like the highest form of treason I can think of.
The Pepsi Challenge. Of course, Pepsi has a long history of sponsoring cars in IndyCar. Going back to the late 70s and early 80s, back when they were having the Pepsi Challenge. Remember I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself here. I took the Pepsi Challenge, just to tell you. Of course, I just turned 50, so I'm dating myself. But there was they used to do this blind taste test if you could tell the difference between Pepsi and Coke, and they call it the Pepsi Challenge. But there was a Pepsi-sponsored car driven by Mike Mosley called the Pepsi Challenger. And that was a bright yellow car with Pepsi sponsorship on the side, and I think he was racing for Danny Gurney. I think it was one of their Eagles at the time. So look that up in the history books. Yeah, I don't think there has been a solo-sponsored Coke car in IndyCar racing. I could be wrong, because there's been a number of one-off liveries here in the most recent era of IndyCar, but I don't think there has.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any. Like it would be too iconic to me, right?
Right. I mean, there might have been like associate sponsorship for Coke, like on Bourdais' McDonald's car or something like that. But I don't ever remember a Coke-sponsored, fully Coke-sponsored IndyCar. We'll go through the field here once we start getting the pit stops and get everybody some TV time. We got plenty of time here. 22 of 85 laps. The nice thing about these long races is we can give everybody a little TV time.
For sure, yeah. That's a typical back of the pack runner. I love that whenever that happens to me. But I was just going to mention one thing that's also really important here is since this is a very long race, and Ryan, you alluded to this at the beginning of the show. You can get tired. You can get very doing things in an automatic way. And sometimes you can lose concentration. So these super long races, they are really taxing because of that reason as well. So you have to be taking a lot of concentration to be in part of the race. So that's also another challenge that these drivers are going to be facing.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's basically people probably think, God, how can the drivers be fatigued when they're basically concentrating all the time? And that's the thing, you're concentrating so much, and just concentrating on hitting your marks and not trying to clip the wall, and that's the thing. Just because you're focusing so much, it can drain you mentally.
Yeah, that's sometimes when I call it. And we laughed about it going into the race, to drive to survive. I mean, sometimes you are not just racing the people around you, but you're racing the racetrack. The racetrack wants to try to kill you. It wants to try to wreck your car. And then, of course, it's keeping the focus, making sure you're hitting all your braking spots. And then how sometimes that can be thrown off, but in little things, by hitting push to pass. You're going faster, so you might miss your braking spot. Any number of things, I forget to mention also that if you've got one of the strong wheelbases, like a DD1 or a Simicube or one of those, the force feedback, depending on what you have it turned up to, your hands are being jiggled and moved back back and forth, left and right, and every single lap. And
every single lap.
Every single lap. Yeah.
Very bumpy surface. Because Long Beach has a lot of bumps.
Oh yeah, watch these cars. Watch these cars as they hit the pavement right there.
Yeah, and for example, in turn 5, you have to go over the curbs, and those curbs are unstable, and your car is going to jump, and then you go down towards turn 8, and the same thing happens, and then there's a transition between the roads. So the car is going to be bumping and moving and jolting the wheel around for 85 laps. So yeah, there is a little bit of physicality involved as well.
So I want to give out the shout to 8th spot, Sven Newman. I learned about this team yesterday when I was watching the 4 p.m. race. They had a racer, a couple cars in it, but this is a core eSport team. And I don't see them participate in any leagues, but I see them participate in the official races. So I'd like to see them here trying out the Indy cars. Welcome to the series. But Sven here has a 5.5K I rating, and he currently is in 8th spot. Eric Troiano, the lead Brazilian at the moment. He is in 9th spot with a 3.3K I rating. We see Troiano in a lot of the races we cover here, also in the Elite Racing League.
And he's typically very fast on road courses, so he's it's no wonder that he's doing well. Currently P9 right now.
And behind Troiano is Pally Bay. We have not talked about Pally yet, but unfortunately they are down 7 laps. But a good-looking car for them. Kind of got the old Toyota scheme on it a little bit with the green highlights. And speaking of green, Jason Green are right behind him. And Jason is currently 13 laps down in 22nd spot.
Yeah, for a second I thought that was going to be 4 position, but no, they are 5 laps.
They are.
They're separated by 5 laps between them. Yeah, unfortunately, both Pally Bay and Jason Green, they were also part in that lap 1 kerfuffle that happened. Parrish was is in P10. He was able to make it by Phil Craft there.
And the Worm Man Jacob Oster, and one of the this is a regular participant what we see on the Tuesday night show on the Oval Series. He actually won this week. He's been primarily the Tom Sneva of the series this season. And when I say Tom Sneva, Tom Sneva has the record of finishing second the most times at the Indianapolis 500. Keep in mind the guy does have a win there, so it's not so bad to finish second all the time but still get a win. But Jacob Oster kind of been finishing second, but broke through in the win category this week at Gateway in not the fixed series, but the Oval Series.
The Oval Series fixed.
Yes.
Because they do
dash Oval Series dash fixed.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but it is what it is. and the Warman Jacob, he's so good. Well, or should we call him RM4? Perry, she's in pit lane. So that's starting.
That's the stops are starting. He's the first to bite. A little early. 26 coming to 27. We got. I hopefully say it. Ayrton Barta has actually spoken up in chat. Says he's excited that he made the top split, but made a. Unfortunately, some people don't brake when there's a crash in front of them, and that's what we call ARCA brakes.
Yeah, we saw it. Well, saw it on the replay, and yeah, that was unfortunate. Unfortunately, Aaron, he was missing his rear wing. It was dangling around, and in turn 8, he spun out. But yeah, then everybody piled in, which, yeah, on one hand, is a little bit of ARCA braking, and on the other hand is that you realistically don't have anywhere to run.
I do not like this configuration using the fountain under even as a real race course. I believe that's a funnel point anyways. I don't see the reason to have it there other than it looks good on TV. You can't pass anyone through there. It's a single file. It's just for a picture spot, you know. I do like the old track very much, which came down the front straight and turned, instead of turning left, the old course turned right and kind of did a bit of a square and then came back out on the back straightaway. But I'm kind of missed that course. I wish they'd bring it back, but I guess they can't anymore because they've reconstructed the whole area. That's kind of why they've reconstructed it to include the fountain. Watching a battle starting to brew now between Brian Carey and Christian Steele and two of the power teams.
Yeah, and while that is happening, Kevin Burrell is the first one of our front runners to make it to the pits. They did have, like, the top 3 have around 20 seconds on the second group, which is made up of Carey, Steele, and Hendrick. With Matsuda and Newman as well. They are all there very, very close together. So they're going to make it by Burrell, but Burrell's not going to be that far behind. I don't think he's going to lose a lot of spots here in the track.
Yeah, he's going to pop out probably at 9th or 10th. What's pit road speed limit, 45? It's painfully slow here, just painfully slow.
I was about to say painfully slow. Doesn't matter.
And now we got Phil Kraus now encountering lap traffic. That is Lionel Mays in front of him. Lionel currently running as the last car on the lead lap. Gives him plenty of room. And wow, that could have been very, very, very drastic there. Mays was wanting to come back on the pit road, and he started to move down when Kraus wasn't quite clear yet. But I want to say no harm, no foul, but I'm sure that gave Kraus a bit of a heart attack.
Yeah, that was pretty much a moment just basically.
Oh, car in the wall. Car in the wall in between turns 2 and 3.
If I was Kraus, I would just pit because everybody seems to be having issues right in front of me. You know, like you said, a heart attack. It gave me a heart attack, and I'm not.
That was Mateus Forcell on new tires.
Yeah, that happens. You have to wait until they get up to temperature.
Yeah, and I think if you're Philip Kraus and you see Burrell and Hildegard pit, and I think you've got to react and pit to cover the track position.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you stay,
here he comes. Yeah, he had the candy car of Anders Sandberg in front of him, and he said, "I'm going to let him go. I'm going to pit now." Because we do know that the first couple laps on a new set of tires is about the fastest you're going to be, and he does not want to hemorrhage any more time, especially with traffic in front of him. There we see Craig Forsyth on pit road as well. Philip Kraus, your leader, coming down to pit road. Forlorn Blaze Andrich, he is currently your leader at the moment, or will be your leader on the racetrack, but he's coming to pit road. Same thing with Matsuda coming to pit road. So here comes Christian Hildegard. Does he get the position over Phil Kraus? I don't know if he will or not. Kraus now fighting Mays in the same position that Kraus fought him, and this might be payback to Kraus because Kraus is going to come out ahead on pit road, and Christian Hildegard is going to be stuck behind Mays, going to come to the inside, coming into 1, going to get the track position. And now he can try to set sail for Phil while Phil tries to bring these tires up to temperature. The car wants to dance right now with these cold tires.
Yeah, for sure. And he really had ascended because otherwise he was going to be trapped behind Mays for at least half of the lap because there are really no good passing opportunities after the first turn until you make it back to turn 9. So, yeah, you have to go for it because otherwise you're going to be losing a couple of seconds per lap.
All right. Something happened to Christian Steele. What happened to Christian Steele?
Let's see.
Oh, I think I think Christian Steele might have hit the wall.
Yeah, we're unfortunately gonna miss that, but that is a shame.
I'm just watching from my end, and Christian Steele, he just went over one of the sauces or base of the curb, basically one of the curves that unsettles the car, and he just lost it and hit the wall. So that was so unfortunate for Christian because he was having a great run.
Yeah, I heard. What turn was that?
I'm looking on the track map. I think
Turn 5.
That was turn 5.
Okay, yeah, that's. I
And,
thought I
you know,
thought I
that-
heard the car skidding somewhere, and I wasn't sure where it was.
Turn 5. That was heading on to West Shoreline Drive.
I don't know if we can find that or not, but Kraus is our leader right now.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Steele, and he hadn't made his pit stop yet. So I guess at that point, yeah, he was on the alternate. So I guess at that point, the tires are spent. That's kind of what we were talking about. It's about how to manage everything, and unfortunately, he got a little bit too much curve, and then there was no way to save that from heading straight into the wall.
So let's see. Maybe we'll try to pick it back up. This is one of the key leaders, and we don't. Hey, switch to the Wyulis. We got time to watch. Yeah, there it is. Oh, and almost got Anders Sandberg right behind him. So he just hit the. You're right, hit the curb and then right into the Acura sign there at the tires. It's too bad. Well, let's reset the field, shall we? Phil Kraus is your leader by 4.1, now 4.2 seconds over Christian Hildegard in the satellite racing entry. There he is right there, Christian Hildegard. P3, Kevin Burrell, his teammate. The general has pretty much kept a hold on P3 the entire race. Brian Carey, he is getting harassed by Heio Matsuda right now for fourth. We'll keep an eye on this just a little bit longer. In fact, here comes Matsuda. He is on the button, pushing the pass, and he is going to have the position to the inside. Give the Japanese driver the position over Brian Carey. Move Matsuda up to fourth.
Yeah, again, Matsuda has been doing a great race today.
And moving further back here, Blaze Andritz now in sixth. He's up 3 spots. Matsuda should be shouted out. He's up 6. Sven Newman.
Jacob Oster is trying to make a move there on Matt White there for
All right,
P12.
let's take a look at this here. Now Oster, the lone I5G entry, taking the wide entry into the hairpin. He was close. Now he's not as close as he was. He's on push to pass. Give you an idea what push to pass looks like. You see the green lights blinking on the steering wheel and around the digital readout there. As soon as you hit the brake or come off 100% throttle, downshift, what have you, that your push to pass stops. So he has
what a send there.
9 pushes of the button left and gets the position move. The lone I5G car now up to P12. Whoa, almost into the wall just like his teammate.
Yeah, he's going for it.
Yeah,
But,
and
go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, it looked like Matt just, as soon as Jacob got a run, Matt just lifted slightly just to let him go and realised that Jacob is a quicker driver and just decided not to make too much of a fight of it. And in a long race like this, that's not always a bad thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's way better to race a smart race, especially we're not even halfway. So it doesn't make sense to fight tooth and nails for a position that you might lose anyway, and that it's going to realistically, if you really fight for it, it's going to slow down both. So better to let them by. Maybe we can pick something up of how they're attacking a certain corner or whatever, and just leave to fight another day in the future.
All right, let's pick up where we left off in the going through the field. Sven Newman with the core entry in 7th. Eric Triano, our lead Brazilian, up in 8th. Philip Kraft in 9th. Kevin Parrish in the Santino AJ Foyt livery from the Indy 500 in 10th. Matt Lundy in 11th. Jacob Oster, we mentioned, saw him moving to 12th. Matt White in 13th. Alex Crow, a little bit further on back here. He is in 14th spot.
He just got lapped by Phil Krauser. Again, the top three, they're in a league of their own. Like, they're 20 seconds ahead of 4th place. They're now lapping all the way to 14th. And it's not like Alex Crow is going slow or anything like that. He has a 108, that's his fastest lap time. But it's just about how good they manage everything. Like, those three front runners, they are, doing a fantastic job and have separated themselves from the entire field.
We got Hildegard just passing Craig Forsyth. He ducked out of the way on the backstretch. Craig in 15th with the good driver etiquette to let the faster leaders on by. Craig is in 15th. Lionel Mays, he's in 16th. There he is crossing the start-finish line right now. He is 1 lap down currently. Matthias Forsell, he is currently in 17th spot. Not sure what his the paint job on his car is. Kind of reminds me of Buzz Lightyear a little bit. I don't know, but Matthias is in 17th.
No, it's an Evangelion one.
Oh, Evangelion. Okay.
Yeah, one of the most famous anime.
Well, this is where my expertise of anime kind of runs out after you stop talking about Voltron or something like that. But there's Lionel Mays, Matthias Forsell. Anders Sandberg, he might have had to make an extra stop. He might have lost the front wing in that Christian Steele incident. But there he is, a Team Watson Racing setup squad. And they're kind of relaunching their IndyCar team. Also got Scours on the side as well. Two pretty good teams.
Trying to take a good look at his wing. It doesn't seem to be damaged. Maybe he got away with it. I don't see anything.
Maybe he didn't stop. He got really, really close, and I wasn't sure if he clipped it. And then even if he did, it might have did the transformer thing where it just slapped on a new wing for him and let him kind of go.
Right.
You'll give him the X, but not give him the damage. Yaroslav Sindler, he is in 19th, currently 2 laps down on the same lap as Sandberg. And we'll give you a good look here at Yaroslav's car. Currently in 24th. There he is in the Aero McLaren livery from last season's Indy 500. Pally Bay, we've mentioned them one time already. They're in 20th, 8 laps down, and Jason Green in 22nd. And in a few laps, he will actually pass Christian Steele for 21st. So a lot of racing still to go. That is your through the field. And a lot more attrition can still happen that some of these guys in the back might walk their way into a top 20. You never know. Keep going.
Never give up.
That's right. Never give up, never surrender. Oh, Philip Kraus lifting the front end off the ground, hitting those. Oh, wow. That was Alex Crow going sideways on the same corner. We're talking corner 5, hitting the curbs there. And Kraus, the front end of his car popped up, and then Crow on corner exit lit her up and looked very much like the Fast Fiver in town doing stunt races right now.
What a save there by Alex Crow. That turn 5 is so... Like those curbs can really launch the car and then unstable everything. So you have to be very careful whenever you're going through it. Again, great save by Alex. And you typically are going to take it a little bit sideways because otherwise you're not going fast enough. But that was way too much of a sideways motion there.
This is about your closest battle right here on the racetrack. Andrich and Newman.
But again, that all can change very quickly. If somebody makes a mistake, we saw it with Steele. That small issue that he had on turn 5, well, that was the end of the race because there is no runoff areas. Again, if something happens, you're going to be met with the well. So again, we're not even halfway there's still a lot of racing left. There's still a lot of things that can happen, so you gotta keep on trucking, keep on going through it.
It's like a Saving Nemo here, since we're around the aquarium, is keep on swimming, keep on swimming. Hey, if you're just joining us, this is Race First coverage of the 4D Racewear coverage sponsored by 4D. If I could just talk for a second, Jesus. If you're just joining us, this is Race First coverage sponsored by 4D Racewear, round 3 of the Saturday top split of the IndyCar iRacing Series, coming to you from the beach at Long Beach, where we have completed 41 of 85 scheduled laps. We've enjoyed Race First coverage of today's race and would like to monetarily support our team. Make sure you visit our GoFundMe link in the description. We do realize times are tough, but any donation you can provide would be greatly appreciated. We do this for free on behalf of the IndyCar community, but if you like our coverage, if you're participating, watching this after the fact, and like our coverage, feel free to hit us up via our GoFundMe page and send a few bucks our way. We certainly would appreciate it. We do have a fun time bringing these to you. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, click the thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so as already as that as well. And click that bell, because we have tons of iRacing action coming up here on Race First here in the next coming weeks. I think we still got more than 50 races between now and the middle of June still to show. So if you like racing, specifically IndyCar racing, this is the place to watch it, right here on Race First.
Yeah, do us a solid.
The solids, you need to do us a super solid, yeah. There we go, watching Blaze Andrich and this battle with Sven Newman. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just taking a look at Phil Krause and how close he's getting to the wall, and I was wondering, Ryan, with your teammates, they're very close still. Christian Hilder in P2, Birel P3, and I'm sure that Porcelli would have been very close to them, if not already fighting with Phil Krause at some point. But without giving away any trade secrets, what were the satellite team members going for with the setup? Like, were they making changes to the gearing? Were they making maybe adjustments to the wing? Like, again, don't give away any trade secrets, but just wondering what they were looking for to make the setup better.
To be honest, I haven't really had a chance to ask the guys what they were doing with regards to what the setup changes or what way they were going on the setup. So, but I'm guessing, I'm just watching the body language of both drivers, of Hildegard and Burrell, and it looks like they might. I'm guessing they went for maybe stability on the setup, but also kind of compromised. Maybe they set the car up to be quick on the straights, but that's just me guessing, because I've not had a chance to speak to any of the drivers. But at the moment, it looks like I thought Hildegard would have tried to close that gap down to Krause, but I think he got held up in traffic slightly, so it's probably compromised him. But I think Christian, at the moment, might just be playing a waiting game and just being patient and sticking to maybe possibly a fuel saving strategy to try and bring him back into it.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, from what we can look at from the body language, or the car language, it does seem like a very, very stable one. But yeah, I mean, I was just wondering if you knew anything.
Well, for folks at home that are watching and not quite sure of kind of the rule set, this is an open setup race. So when we say open setup, each one of these teams has a pretty much a specialized setup to their car for their driving style, right down to the shocks, the struts, the dampeners, the ride height, all that stuff. Everything you see them and watch them do in real IndyCar racing in terms of the adjustments they make in the pits, not just to the wings, the rear wing, front wing, any of that stuff, but the little stuff, tire pressure, camber, the dampeners, all that stuff, that they can change all that stuff going into this race. And then, of course, when they get going, they can do the stuff that they can change the stuff on the car that you normally see in the race anyway, such as the front wing changes, sometimes the rear wing change. We got Crow and Burrell here. It's a battle for track position, putting Crow a lap down. Each one got loose there in corner exit. But so with an open setup race, these teams, especially these bigger teams, Power Slide, Team Hype, Private Label, Satellite Racing, 40 Racewear, 510 Esports. I'm trying to think of I5G. You name it. They have these setups, and they are like the most closely guarded secrets than several countries' nuclear codes. you just don't go up to one of the guys on Satellite and say, "Hey man, can I borrow your setup and see what you're doing?" That is a no-no. So you could go to Satellite, or Satellite Racing used to have sponsorship with a company that did every week kind of come out with kind of a base setup that you could use, and some people do use those. But these teams that have these big teams here at the front, these are highly specialized, highly tweaked hours, hundreds of laps, maybe hundreds of hours have been logged trying to get these setups perfect. So these are perfect for these drivers that are driving them.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. In the meantime, there is a battle brewing there for P6, actually for P5, between Brian Carey,
Eric Troiano on pit road,
and Sven Newman. They're very close together. And yeah, Troiano, he's going to need to pit again.
I'm not sure if he had damage or something.
Yeah,
he had damage. He was missing a right front wing. So that's going to drop him out of the top 10. He was your lead Brazilian driver. But let's get back to this battle with Andrich, Sven Newman.
Actually, it's probably Neumann.
Carey.
Because he's German, so yeah.
Carey with Power Slide. That's one of the big power teams. Blaze Andrich. I like to call him Four-Alarm Blaze Andrich. He is I've remember his skill set, his driving craft, his race craft has he's really worked hard on his.
There is another battle brewing that is even closer. That's between P9, Parrish, Lunde, and Jacob Oster, who actually...
Something wrong with Oster?
Yeah, something happened to his car.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Oh, no. He just came on the radio. He was letting Phil Prowse go by.
Okay. I'm surprised they're not kind of working with each other on a private channel somewhere. A lot of I know that a lot of some of these teams have been doing a lot of crossover cooperation work here recently.
Yeah, it was a massive team name. What was it? Power Slide, Team I5G with Private Label.
With Private Label, yeah. That was their April Fool's joke, and they all didn't put on Robert Malechka's livery, and that threw me off for about a race. And they're like, okay, so.
Yeah, that was confusing.
Jacob Oster was running as Robert Malechka the fourth.
And he still calls that out whenever we're starting a race. Oh, somebody went wide.
Yeah, that was Lundy, and that he lost all his positions. He's down to 11th now, so he went wide, and they also have to look in their rearview mirror because here comes Hildegard. So the points situation in the IndyCar iRacing series, current leader right now is, I love this name. And I don't know if this is their real name or not, but this is an absolute awesome name for a race car driver. Pascal Sticks.
Yeah, I recognize that name.
Yeah, that's so like Pascal, like the old programming language that no longer exists, and Sticks, like the band Styx. That is
with a Y.
Well, no, STIX. STIX. Sorry, not exactly like the band. I'm sorry, I forgot they have it with the Y, but STIX. P2 is this man. We'll ride along with him, Kevin Burrell. He is Styx is 761 is his point total to 728 for Burrell. P3 is this guy, Christian Hildegard. Hildegard has a 647. P4, it's this guy, Phil Krause, looking to do a big gain today. 605, and currently fifth. And a guy we haven't seen on the top split in a while is Alex Van de Sant. VDS there is P5 with a 577. I saw VDS at the 4 o'clock race yesterday, and he did not have a good race. So I'm sure he'll want to audit that performance out. Today, just to remind you of the, I forgot how many splits there were, but we are at a 42-33. not the highest split of the weekend. It's the second highest split. The 4 o'clock race yesterday seems to have the highest split so far, 45-64. One more race to go after this before the week is retired for these guys for Long Beach, and I believe that's a 10 p.m. race later tonight.
Yeah, and we had six splits today.
6 splits, okay. There was 5 splits in race 1, 7 splits in race 2, so that makes sense.
And
Still good showing. Still good showing for the community.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's great. And, there's still a battle brewing between Oster and Lunde there. Lunde's right on the tracks of the Warman here. The Warman is actually covering a little bit to the inside, yeah.
So the legend of the Warman goes, if you're not familiar, and I believe I picked this up from another broadcast, he sent some worms into space for an experiment. So he does... come on, Jacob.
Oh, nice save.
Nice save. He does some type of research work for NASA, I believe. You never know who you're going to run into here, what type of jobs some of these people do. Of course, we do have real life guys that work on IndyCar teams. Of course, they're not here today, but you'll see them in other splits when the season is not in progress or they're not at a racetrack. It's all callings of life.
Yeah, from all walks of life, so many different, roles that most of us have. It's very interesting whenever we were talking about not necessarily racing. And I was just looking at Jacob. Right now, he probably needs to take a lap or two to chill out because those tires are a little spent right now, and they're probably screaming of heat because of that slide. So he's gonna have to take it a little.
Yeah. It doesn't take much to upset these Waiuli tires, and you see him going over those curbs. So he's trying to get the car to rotate more by using the curbs.
And that actually helped him gain time on Parrish there, so he's just going for it.
Here they come down to the portion of the racetrack that's actually been slightly reconfigured in real life. Parrish gets a little wiggly on corner exit. Oster now not on the button, but he's going to give a good run of it on the inside into 9. No. Oster kind of just cuts the corner and dives across the nose of, Parrish cuts the corner, goes across the nose of Oster. I'm sure that doesn't make Oster very happy.
He got a little loose there on the exit at Jacob. And Lunde got a good run. Not sure that's going to be enough to actually attempt a pass. And
Kraus still with the purple lap, a 107.5. He's still turning 107s now. His last lap was a 107.8. I mean, talk about an alien. The man makes me sick, but he is good at what he does.
He definitely is.
And again, Oster sideways as well, so he's definitely giving it some.
Yeah, Jacob putting on a show here for us.
So speaking of, we'll go back real quick to Mads. We're watching him right now. Thank you, Google. There has been a one-off IndyCar Coca-Cola car. And to nobody's surprise when I look at it, because it had like every single sponsor they sold in the store at the time. Ganassi put Coca-Cola on the side of one of their cars. Let's see what number it was. 9, so it would have been Dixon back in the DW12 days. But that's when they were still sponsored by Target. So they had all the other products that Target sells was also on the car. So there wasn't much spots to put any other sponsors' logos at that time. But yeah, there was a Coca-Cola only IndyCar back in the 2012 days. I think he raced it at Barber.
Well, there we go. Thanks, chat. In the meantime, there's another battle that's close, a step closer than the one with Parrish, Oster, and Lunde. That's Kerry, Andrick, and Neumann.
There we go. Right in a row. They are all about the same amount of time separating each other, about 4/10.
Yeah, and that's just the thing that we were also mentioning. It's very hard to pass.
Carey saving a lot of fuel, clutching a lot way into that first turn.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I was watching his onboard and he definitely lifted a lot, so he's trying to stretch out this second stint as long as possible before he makes his last pit stop.
Looks like Parrish is actually pitting.
And this will be, well, yeah, this is his 25th lap on this stint. So he pitted on 26 the first time. So he apparently has got a strategy where he's going to go 26 and to the end.
I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that'll be enough, because if he wants to try and make it from there, he'll need to do a lot of lift and coast.
So let's ride along with Brian Carey here. Let's go right on the roll bar. Hear him down the front stretch here at Long Beach. So let's listen here. He gets to the lights. There's a lot of coasting there.
And, you know, that would also explain why Andrik and Neumann are not really doing anything to pass, because they're happy with Carey punching a hole in the air and then being able to save a little bit more. I was just listening to Neumann, and, you know, he's also saving a little bit of fuel.
Hey, we got Lionheart in chat. Lionheart says, props to iRacing for getting this track done. Of course, remember, for the longest time, this was one of their dev tracks. And all of the buildings, you could drive the track, but all of the buildings and everything outside of the track were kind of incomplete. It kind of reminded me of kind of what it looked like, kind of half a state of what it looked like when Thanos snapped his fingers. It was kind of all dusty and pixelated, and looks like everything was either going to fade away or half in existence, that type of thing. And they finished this track, and it is a welcome addition, finished track-wise. Now, iRacing, if we could only see St. Petersburg and Toronto, that we could add those other street courses to the IndyCar lineup here.
Yeah, if we're talking about IndyCar tracks, there's one I would love to see on iRacing, that the old Champ Car Series visited back in, I think it was 2007 or 2007, I believe. I would love to see Mont Tremblant on iRacing.
Isn't that coming, Mont Blanc? Is that coming soon? Is it under development? Or I thought it might. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe someone in chat can look that up. But I thought Mont Blanc might be coming soon or something.
Yes,
that would be super cool.
Yeah, I did hear rumours that iRacing was apparently trying to scan it. I'm not sure if they're true or not, but if they are true, which I hope they are, then I'm excited.
That was what, 2007 kart season?
I believe so.
You know which one I would love to see, although I know it's a pipe dream and it's not going to happen? Burke Lakefront Airport. Cleveland.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. And I think, you know, and okay, while we got time, and we're 56 now, 57 of 85 in the books here. Again, thanks for joining us. This is Race First coverage of the IIS Strength of Field race for Saturday. This is the 2 p.m. Eastern race. Currently, your leader is Kraus, followed by Hildegard, Burrell, Matsuda, and Carey. That's your top five. Watching the battle right now between Carey, Andrich, and Newman for the fifth spot. These cars are all on the lead lap. There was a survey sent out a few weeks ago to a lot of iRacing members. I think everybody. And two of the questions at the end were, what cars do you want to see that aren't in the service already? And what tracks do you want to see that aren't in the service already? What did you guys put down for your cars, first of all?
I added, I asked for a 2000s kart. Either a Reynard or Lola, whatever was the 2000s card club.
Did you get that one, Ryan?
I couldn't think of anything when it came to cars that I would love to see on the service. The one I pretty much answered straight away was what tracks I would love to see at iRacing, and Mont Tremblant's one of them. Another one I would love to see is probably the same as Antonio's Cleveland.
and yeah, for tracks I asked for, well, it's a letter to Santa, right?
Right.
So, I asked for a Autódromo Hermanos.
Okay, what happened? We are missing, I think one of the cars in this battle dipped off to pit road.
Neumann pitted, Hilgard and Gurel also pitted.
Okay. And there's Newman. He's back underway. He is on the YU Lee tire. We'll explain the YU Lee tire here a little bit later, but we'll continue to watch this battle between Brian Carey, although he is on pit road. So he hands the position over to Forlon Blaze Andrich. So he is now up into the top 5. So I went with the 86 March IndyCar. I think that was the pinnacle of the 80s era IndyCar right there, was about 86, 87, 88, somewhere in there. There's one thing that I remember from the 80s IndyCar that I wish they'd bring back, but I understand why they don't, are the wheel covers. The wheel covers looked so cool on these cars, on super speedways. The other thing I asked for was an 85 Renard IndyCar, or excuse me, a 95 Renard IndyCar, and the main reason because of that is that's currently the car that still holds the track record in Indianapolis. And then I asked for the 2000 Renard IndyCar, and that's mainly because that holds the track record, world closed course record, which was set at Fontana, rest in peace. But those are the 3 that I asked for. I think 2000, if you go back and look at the pinnacle of IndyCar when speed and technology met, I think 2000 was that year. Because after that year, the technology was there, but the speed kind of fell off. Blaze Andrich coming to the pits.
Yeah, and yeah, sorry to cut away from that as well, but while the pit stops were going on, while Carey made his pit stop, Newman managed to jump him.
Yeah, good job for Newman. He gets that position, and he really jumped him. Newman is in 8th now, and he has himself about a 2-second lead over Carey.
Yeah, now Andrick is also pitting, so we'll see where he cycles on, because they were on that battle together, Carey, Neumann, and Andrick. Lunde on pit road. Kraus already went and made his pit stop. He comes up P1.
Yeah, he is on his outlap right now. So watch that. Got to bring these tires up to speed. We saw in the 4 o'clock race that Hilgard, when I was watching that one, didn't bring his tires up carefully enough and spun out just after his first pit stop, and he was out of contention at that point.
Yeah, and I think right now Phil Kraus is actually going to try to make a purple, even purpler. Hilgard just took it from him.
Yeah, he did. So 107.448.
Yeah, but Kraus was on the bottom, jumping those curves.
Man,
really
he is
aggressive.
hitting that curb like it's a stunt, and the car in front of him is damaged.
Yeah, Kraus just gets held up slightly there, but yeah, I watched Kraus fly over those curves and get some airtime, and I thought he was on a one-way trip into the wall.
Yeah.
So he's definitely giving it plenty.
Yeah, Kraus giving his best impression of Evel Knievel.
Jacob Oster is pitting, so that should complete the fuel cycle.
Blaze Andrich on pit road, extended stop. Might have sped. No, he wrecked. He is missing a nose cone, so coming up to temperature, those tires bit him like this. Those tires, might as well call them snake bites, because they'll just come out of nowhere and get you.
Yeah, and just Phil Kraus went ahead and took back the purple lap, 17.2. Oh, 29.
Yeah, 17299. Yeah, and he keeps hitting those curbs like it's a Joey Chitwood stunt show.
And I think he's going for another fast lap here. He didn't have any.
He's not on a push to pass right now. He's not on a push to pass, but he is flying.
Yeah, and last time by he had to deal with that lap traffic that slowed him and probably took a tenth or two out of space.
Let's ride along with Phil as he comes around the hairpin signature corner. I say the hairpin's really the signature corner here at this track. Down the front stretch, number of IndyCar drivers, royalty to have taken the real life checkered flag here. It's amazing. Here he comes.
Oh, there we go. 106.9.
106.941.
That's crazy.
Through the fountain area that kind of serves no purpose whatsoever. Now here's where he's going to jump. Wow. I mean, next if I had the sound bite, next time we run through, I'd hit the General Lee horn.
He is using all of the track. Well, they paid for it, right? Might as well.
Right.
But yeah, that's the thing with drivers as well, though. Especially Philip, that he probably feels comfortable with pushing hard, because it's probably each driver's different, but it's probably his way of staying focused and concentrating. Otherwise, some drivers, they find if they start backing off slightly, they lose that focus and concentration, and it just leads to mistakes.
Well, it looks like most of the field is on the Waiuli tire right now.
Yeah, it looks like it was the better choice, actually. We didn't get that drop-off that we saw in some of the other races. It probably has to do as well with the weather. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, I got it up on the screen. The weather is 107 track temp, 70 degrees ambient. Which is that sounds like SoCal weather to me.
Yep. Well, there's still a battle on track. Parrish trying to fend off Jacob Astor there.
All right, we'll get a look at that here in just a second. Here we go. So the Waiuli is a plant. So the tires are derived from a plant.
He's in the bottom.
Here we come.
He's gonna go for it.
This is going to be a battle for position. Inside, has it clear. Nice pass. Nice pass. Good cooperation between the two. I'm sure Parrish did not want to give that up, but he fought him cleanly for it.
And Oster is in the bottom again to try and make a little bit of a gap. That actually is working for him.
So I am going on to YouTube here. Basically, Waiuli is kind of a substitute rubber material for people that have latex allergies. So you can buy Waiuli gloves, Waiuli balloons, anything that's rubber. There's normally a Waiuli equivalent of it. I believe they're even talking about it as a biofuel, although I can't really see these cars being powered. Can you be powered by Waiuli too? I don't know. I don't think I really want to see that, but yeah, these Waiuli is a plant, and that's where the substance that makes the compound of the tire is initially made up of.
It's so interesting to see, that kind of engineering of turning something else into, a usable material for tires. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, it's a well known export of several states in Mexico. They have Waiuli farms where they farm the sap, so to speak. That's what makes up the rubber, and then they refine it to turn it into rubber-like substance. So pretty cool. And they're only using the Waiuli tires on street courses. They don't use them on permanent road courses. And I believe even in the game, I think they still are called the alternate tire. But graphically, they will be reflected. And that was one of the most recent updates for the IndyCars. They actually added the Waiuli tire in one of the last updates. So thank you, iRacing. We certainly appreciate that. Now, while you're at it, get the hybrids in there once the hybrids become available.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, the Waiuli stuff is actually, harvested or, manufactured somehow in Mexico, I feel like I should have known that. But hey, I'm in technology, so...
I only known that from Wikipedia. If it's wrong, it's just typically Wikipedia then. So let's...
I went back real quick to see what happened to Blaze Hendrick, and he was just minding his own business, coming out of pits. But Lionel Massey our French friend here, he kind of went straight into him. So that's an unfortunate way of ending the race for Blaze.
So he didn't get snake bitten, but he didn't get snake bitten, but he got RKO'd. So RKO out of nowhere. All right, so we are 66 of 85 in. Kraus is our leader. Hildegard P2, Kevin Burrell P3, Hale Matsuda P4, Sven Newman P5, Ryan Carey P6, Philip Kraft P7, Jacob Oster, who we're currently watching right now, P8, Kevin Parrish P9, Mads Lundy rounds out your top 10. Biggest gainer of the day, well, let's get the camera on that guy. It is Matthias Forsell in the Evangelion car that I found out. But if anyone ever wants to drive a Voltron car, let me know, because I will shout that out on the program. That would be cool. But he is up 11 spots since the start of the race. Currently 2 laps down in 14th. So if he finishes here, definitely looking at a top 15 finish. Good on him. So back to our discussion about what cars you asked for. What tracks did you ask for? Do you remember what tracks you asked for besides Mont Tremblant? And I'm looking that up. I'm trying to see if that is actually iRacing did say they were scanning that or not. And I don't know if they are. Maybe I misread it.
I mean, I did ask for Mexico City, and I also asked for St. Pete.
Yep.
So those were my 2, and I now I'm regretting it, and I'm like, why didn't I mention Cleveland? I should have.
Yeah, there was excuse me. There was one track I did put in the form as I do have a big thing for Canadian tracks. There was another one that I would love to see on iRacing if they do get the chance to scan it as I'm probably butchering it, the pronunciation, but Troy Rivieres.
Okay. Three Rivers. I think it's Three Rivers. Yeah.
I think it's in Quebec, I think.
Yeah, definitely with the French name, it's going to be in Quebec, because that's the only place they really care about France and French in Canada.
Just super quickly, Mads Lundy, he has a real Parrish.
Leader is up with a lot of lap traffic at the moment.
Yeah, but Kevin Parrish, he has to save fuel, because otherwise he's not going to be able to make it, and that has allowed Mads Lundy to cut that a lot. He's really hunting him for P9.
Take a look at that here in a second. So Mont Tremblant is in AC and so Assetto Corsa and R Factor 2. I thought that they were going to scan it for iRacing. I could be wrong. I know they have a couple of former Formula One tracks that they have that they're currently scanning. I know Magna Core, they're scanning. I don't know if is that available?
We actually have.
That's available. Okay. I haven't bought it because I haven't had to broadcast a race for Magna Core yet. But I don't think. I'm incorrect there. I think you're correct there, Ryan. They have not scanned it, but. On my list, as we watch Kraus navigate that lap traffic, which was getting tight at times for him. Let's get back to that battle for, was it 10th, you said?
P9, yeah, between Parrish and Lundy.
Okay, Crow is on pit road, so Lundy and Parrish, there they are. I put down for my tracks, if I can find it, I put down Pikes Peak International Raceway, because that still exists.
Right, yeah.
And Nazareth.
Nazareth would be.
It exists in some form, but not in a scannable form. St. Petersburg.
They would need to do. Sorry, yeah, they would need to do the North Wilkesboro treatment.
Yeah. They would have to. You know, the time they come to clean up Nazareth is when you go buy stock in a company that makes a bunch of weed whackers. Because they're going to have to deploy thousands of them to clean that place up for scanning. What I think they would do is they would just create it from scratch and not be one of the scan tracks a la iRacing Super Speedway. Although iRacing Super Speedway probably existed in some code because of NASCAR Racing 2003.
Yeah, that was
but in that,
Coca-Cola Speedway.
Right, as we're watching the Coca-Cola car. But in that, I think Nazareth was still part of NASCAR Racing 2003. I thought, because that also included tracks run by trucks and the which would have been the Nationwide Series at the time, whatever the Busch Series or the Xfinity Series is now. So
Right.
if they want to, if they did want to do that, then they can do that. That's fine. But I have Nazareth, St. Petersburg, Toronto, Portland. Portland. Last time I raced Portland on a sim was on IndyCar Racing 1 and 2. Toronto was on IndyCar Racing 1 and 2, I think, as well.
I was about to mention that, hey, at least they have the data from Nazareth on IndyCar Racing 2, so, it's a starting point.
And then I also have down my big pipe dreams are Ontario. Lundy, crossover, and that was a fail. Oh my goodness.
Oh, holy moly! That was one of those hold your breath and hope for the best moments.
He really tried to make it happen.
Yeah, let's watch this. We got time, and we kind of got 16 seconds to the leader, so we got there's only so much we can talk about. You see that he's on push to pass. He's got the green lights on his steering wheel flashing. He's got the green border around his digital readout there. It actually says up in the border there, P2P on. And here he comes, and he goes to the outside, and a little bit. He does a crossover, and then that was too much of a rapid move for his car really to handle, and manages to not touch a thing, click at the first gear, spin the backside around without slapping the wall and get underway. But that was, I was kind of kidding around by calling for Porty in the Oval Series the mailman, because we watched him send it in one corner one time. Maybe Mads Lundy's nickname should be the mailman, because he sure did a send right there.
He sure did. But, what a great heads-up movement by him. He was not going to make that corner no matter what. And instead of trying and forcing it and just wrecking entering turn one, he just go in front and just like, okay, I'll take my losses, and, no harm, no foul. He's still a chance.
Yeah, and Parrish probably had a holy crap there moment, and he delayed his turn in just a little bit to allow Lundy to kind of slip on by, and then he turned into the corner and kept going. But he probably had an oh crap moment there for a little bit, but he's all by himself now, so he can at least breathe a little bit easier. He is currently in 9th spot, 7 seconds up to Oster, and 6 seconds back to Lundy, who was just on his tail a couple laps ago. Okay, Max.
And also great defense. Sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead, guys.
That was a good heads up driving by Paris as well, because he could have turned into the corner and not realised it.
Exactly.
Lundy was trying to make a move, and he could have been torpedoed out. But Paris, being heads up, he left the door open because he knew how quick Lundy was flying in, and luckily both of them managed to avoid a big accident.
Yeah, and this is also going to help Parrish a lot, because we know that he has to save. He was the first one that pitted lap 52. Again, I'm still not sure that he's going to be able to make it, but he had to defend and save a lot of fuel. So real good driving by him. And, now he's in a little bit of a lull, and he doesn't have anyone hounding him at the moment.
Leader is approaching P5 on the racetrack at the moment. Sven Newman. This will put Sven, he's the last lap down. He's the last car on the lead lap. So that will have Kraus lapping up to P5 if he gets around him. So on my list of tracks, I had Ontario. Got to have Ontario. Texas World Speedway. Walt Disney World. Although it probably would be an awful track to drive, I think. And I've heard from some other drivers that have real-life IndyCar drivers that talk about Walt Disney World, and they said that was one of the few tracks that actually scared them. And I think a lot of that had to do with the way that Turn 3 was configured there at Walt Disney World. It was, if you miss Turn 3, you're going toe box first into the wall. And of course, some very serious, almost, in one case, a career-ending injury there, almost career-ending injury in 2 other cases. Davy Jones, the positive cases were Davy Jones and oh gosh, and now all of a sudden named the driver from Chile.
Salazar?
Salazar. Eliseo Salazar. Salazar tried to kill himself twice there, I think. First in 96 and then also in 97 in testing. Davy Jones had a full-time IndyCar ride for the 97 season and testing there leading up to the opener in the 97 season, smacked the turn 3 wall and pretty much ended his IndyCar career. He had a couple more starts after that, but pretty much ended his IndyCar career there. And of course, that's where Sam Schmidt had the big wreck that paralyzed him.
Yeah, I was about to mention Sam Schmidt.
Yeah, and Sam Schmidt had the whole world at his feet. He was just coming off he had a season where he just had his first IndyCar win, running for Treadway, and he was an up-and-coming driver at the time, and he had the whole world at his feet, and that wreck put him on a different career path. And I think in that sense, things worked out still, but his driving career, of course, it had such a bright star, and just nothing, we could see nothing how that would have powered. But team owner wise, he's been one of the greats. Of course, he's now a partial owner with McLaren on his squad there. And also I added Thermo Club, because I think if you're going to race IndyCar there or test IndyCar more, they can probably get in there and scan that one pretty easy if the community lets them. And then Berkeley Front Airport.
Oh, there you go. You mentioned it.
Now, Riverside is another one I had there. And then this last one, and we saw Kraus getting around Newman. So Newman is now a lap down. The last one. Parrish?
Sorry, Parrish pitted.
He is on pit road.
He was not going to be able to make it. Yeah, we mentioned that it was too early, so he's on pit road. That's going to allow Lundy by, and I'm not sure he's going to lose a lot. Maybe to White.
Down and away on the Waiuli tires.
Yeah, I think Paris will be comfortably ahead of Forsyth, because Forsyth's only heading up to the chicane now, so Paris should come out round about 11th.
Alex Crow trying to get a really good look at the rear attenuator of Forsyth's car. I don't think he could have got any closer on that one.
He has been hounding Craig for the last couple of laps, but hasn't able to make a pass. Again, very tough to set up passes here.
Yeah, there's really only 2 zones to pass, maybe 3 if you can get under somebody for the hairpin. You got turn 1, and
turns 1, turn 8.
Yeah, the end of the straight, turn 1, and at the end of the straight there on the backstretch.
Yeah, and the hairpin if you're brave enough.
If you're brave enough, exactly. The other track I put in mind was Autodromo Ciudad de Rafela, and I hope I say that right.
That's the Brazilian one, right?
That is in Argentina, and the USAC Champ Car Series went there twice in the 70s. Actually had a double header there in the 70s. It is a 2.8 mile high banked super speedway. It's shaped.
Right.
It's shaped it's shaped like iRacing Super Speedway. It's banked like Michigan.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. And that would be a great track to see in the sim. I mean, it has an infield road course and everything, but I would love to see that on the sim and get the Indy cars on there. Oh my goodness. Talk about pack race. Woof.
Yeah, apparently for the real life IndyCar series, they were talking about trying to bring back some races and doing some races abroad again, like they used to do when they used to visit. What was it? They used to visit Australia regularly for Surfers
Paradise. Yep.
So I would love to see that happen again, because I think that's, in my opinion, that's something that's missing from real life IndyCar racing, and it's something I would love to see on iRacing as well. Maybe some Aussie tracks like Surfers Paradise, because I think that would be a great addition for the roadside as well.
Yeah,
and here Crow to the inside, now outside rather, depending on what you're looking at, of Forsyth, unable to get the power down. So yeah, if you, again, IndyCar Racing 1, I think you could race at Surfers Paradise. Here goes Crow to the inside, into the braking zone. Craig just outbrakes him.
Yeah, and they were both on the bottom. Not sure how many pushes they have left.
I got you there. Craig has 6. Alex has 2.
Oh, so advantage Craig.
And everybody an update for the top, all the cars on the lead lap, which is Kraus, Hilgard, Burrell, and Mitsuda. Push-to-pass situation there is 4 for Kraus, 8 for Hilgard, 8 for Burrell, and 5 for Matsuda. 3 for Newman, 3 for Carey, 5 for Kraft. Oster has 1 left. Lundy has 4. White has 4. Parrish has 5. And then this current battle is 6-2. Forsyth with the edge. And they have one of the leaders right behind him there. That's Hilgard. So they got to watch themselves now, is when you got one of the leaders, P2, coming up behind him. They're in a battle for position, but Hilgard wants to keep pushing the issue because he's wanting to secure P2. That is coming off the pit road, Pally Bay.
And, Brian Carey and Philip Kraft, they're still going at it. They're very close to each other. Kraft trying his hardest to make it by.
Oh, here comes Crow. Crow sends it. They're side by side coming off the corner now, coming down to the entrance to the backstretch.
Yeah, they've got to be careful because Hildegard's coming right up behind them now, and they don't want to hold him up too much.
Crow finally
coming down the 9. Yeah, he gets him in the 9, and then 10. And then Craig's going to have to probably concede a little bit more than he wants to because he has one of the leaders behind him. A lot of off-road clag there in the hairpin area.
And yeah, Hildegard's on push to pass.
Yeah, he'll want to get around those guys. And he's not going to be able to. Not down in turn 1. So he's going to have to follow him all the way through turn 1, through 3, through the fountain. Maybe try again. Coming out of 5, going to 6. That's where that pass happened last time between these two.
And this is the thing as well, though, with the back markers. It's basically you can't afford to get frustrated in these sort of situations and do something silly. So I think Christian just needs to sit behind.
Yeah, it's different if these two weren't racing for position. These two are racing for 13th or 12th actually, and then they got one. So Craig's going to dip out of the way. And the key is to dip out of the way, lift a lot, but not enough that you lose time to the position that you're trying to get to. So now he's around Craig. And now he's going to look at Crow coming down the main straightaway.
And that's the thing as well. You can use that slipstream as well to close that gap back to the car in front. It's not the best thing to let a car by, but it's one of those things you can use that slipstream to the other car as a sort of like a string, if you like, to pull you back up.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys. Kraft just got side by side with Carey entering turn 1. They weren't able to.
All right, we'll go back and look at this here. Yeah.
But Kraft is trying everything he has to make it by Brian Carey. And the good thing about Hilgard and being behind Forsyth and Crow is that he has a big buffer to P3 with Kevin Burrell 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So it really didn't matter as much if they slowed him down a little bit. Would have been a lot different though if Burrell was a little closer.
Let's get the last read in here before we finish up here. Today's coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their made-for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in the description today. Of course, we were watching Craig Forsyth, who is sponsored by them. Here comes Kraft taking a look to the inside of Carey. Not going to have it. If you enjoy Race First coverage and you're just joining us, make sure to smash like and click the bell and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And just in case you are wondering what the heck we're watching here, we are doing this is the Long Beach round of the IndyCar iRacing Series. 3 laps to go. Philip Kraus is your leader. Been the leader for much of the entire race here. Currently holding the purple lap. He started on the outside of the front row. The pole sitter was Christian Hilgard.
Yeah, and this battle with Carey and Kraft got really loose on exit of 6, I think it was. And that just lost him all his track position, basically. So instead of being 3 tenths behind, he's now almost a second. Well, 7-8 tenths of a second behind him.
Yep, he's kind of not in direct contact right now as we're coming to now. He's coming to 2 to go. Currently, there are 20 cars still running. 5, only 4 on the lead lap. So the leader has set a pretty torrid pace. The leader consistently all day long has turned 107s.
Yeah, he's the only one in that bracket.
I mean, so a lot of the people's fastest laps were his kind of regular laps in the middle of the stint. This is how much of an alien this guy is right here. Philip Kraus. Private label Team Hype.
He's going to be taking the white here. White flag is out. And he's on the bottom. I'm not sure if he's trying to set up a better lap time. I'm not sure that is possible with these tires.
He's got one press of the button after that, and he was pushing the button that time. So he's got one left. As I like to say, smoke him if you got him, because you can't take him to the next race with you.
For sure. Look how he attacks turn 5 there.
Yeah, I was good to say, I've watched him across those curves loads of times, and just the way he hits them, it's just so, it's like I described it, it's so precise.
If they were to, in real life, if they were to turn his car upside down and check the skid plates, I'm sure that they would be half grounded down by the time the way that he's been popping those curves. There's no rule against it here, and it's very entertaining to watch. And in a race that's been dominated by Phil Kraus all race long, we do appreciate a little bit of entertainment. Thank you, Phil Kraus, for giving us the entertainment we seeked all race long, and he gets the win here in round 3 at Long Beach in the IIS as he hits the wall at the start finish line.
107.6 with 30 laps all tires, so yeah.
Here comes Hilgard to get his position there in P2. Second step. Not a bad day for satellite racing, guys, wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Yeah, it's been a good day for the team. I mean, I think Christian, he set a great qualifying lap and to grab the front row spot, but I think he'll probably concede that just Philip had that was just pretty much better in race trim, and it's just untouchable.
Here comes Heyo for the top 5. Hayato Masuda. I like to call him Heyo, though. Just like when Scott Hall used to come out in wrestling, he always used to pick up the bike and go, Heyo.
Heyo.
Heyo. Hayato Matsuda P4. Last car on the lead list, Finn Newman P5. We'll get the standings up on the screen here for you.
And I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of did.
I'm going to find... There we go. We'll get the replay set up for Kevin Burrell to join us in the booth, because we know he will. He's the best interview in all of iRacing, trust me. But let's get the results in for today's race. How? Here we go. Check it out. Detailed stats, folks. Philip Kraus led 80 laps. Hilgard led 5 P2. Kevin Burrell P3. Matsuda up 6 spots, finishes 4th. Sven Newman up 7 spots, finishes 5th in that core entry. Ryan Carey Power Slide teams for the team Power Slide Racing. Excuse me. He is P6. Philip Kraft P7. Jacob Oster in the I5G entry P8. Mads Lundy, the mailman, finishes 9th, up 11 spots. He's a big gainer as well. Matt White in 10th. That rounds out your top 10. And then, let's see, next page. Yeah, there we go. Parrish with the 3 stopper there. Crow, 12th. Forsyth, 13th. Sanders, 14th. Forcell, 15th. Sindelar, I hope I'm saying that right, 16th. Troiano, 17th. Bay, 18th. Mays, 19th. Green, and 20th. Four-alarm Blaze, Andrich, 21st. Christian Steele in the Marlboro throwback, 22nd. Like Ike, I want to be like Ike, but not today because he finished 23rd on a tough day for him. Urich, 24th. Then my overlay is giving me the wrong order, so I want to make sure that Arc is 24th, Porcelli 25th, Bowman 26th, and Berta 27th. Rough day for a lot of those guys, the low portion here, because they didn't make it past the fountain. And some didn't even make it one lap. All right, let's get to the interview room. There is the general. We'll bring him on up. And we got the general, Kevin Burrell, with us in the booth. Kevin, we got Antonio Estrada and Ryan Walker, your teammate here. Yeah. Talk about your race, man. I know you have a full story. And that's why we love having you in the interview booth, because I don't have to ask you to do anything. I was like, here's the mic, Kevin, go right ahead. And you just hit every talking point, and that's great. It's done. But talk about your race, finishing third. I mean, you were kind of up there all day, but the closest you had a wisp of the lead is at the start, and then after that, kind of the first 2 drove off without you.
Man, it was just, I mean, well, first of all, like we had, the same combo last week in Elite, and then obviously Indy Open, and like, we did not have anything to show in those races. The stat was just awful, and throughout the week I worked madly clicking away trying to get something, and we thought we had it figured out, and I won the other 2 slots this week, and I was like, oh, we really figured it out, huh? And then Phil just showed us that. I mean, at first, we were on our team chat. We were talking about like, oh man, okay, if he's going to 29, we have no answer for him. Chris has no answer for him. Oh, he's going to 30. Oh, well, yeah, no, we have nothing for that. That's just not happening. And, I mean, I think it was a good race overall, but that is incredible. I mean, that is, I don't know what to say.
Welcome. It's like a welcome to reality, but where do
Phil
you...
has just told me. Phil has just told me he could have gone to 31. So
that's just adding salt to the wound. Come on, Phil.
That's just salt to the wound.
Come on, Phil. Well, we were calling Phil an alien, and we know he's an alien. But what do you think was the difference if you were to be privileged one day to look at his setup and your setup? What do you think the difference is?
It's really hard to say. I mean, one thing I know is that in fixed he pulls ridiculous leads on even some of the fastest Indy guys. So I know that for sure. Set-wise, I mean, I think we definitely... It tends to be a trend for us, having pretty good qual docs, but race tire wear is... I mean, some of that was driving, there's no question, because Christian gained a little on me, but I think that gap you saw from him to me, that was kind of the tire wear from driving, maybe even a bit more. And then set-wise... Yeah, I don't know. We're missing some rear traction, maybe, I think. I mean, we're just starting to burn up that rear really quickly. The prime stint was pretty good, but the alts, that's just it. You're putting more energy into the primes faster. Whereas with the alts, I mean, it just was not happening. Not at all.
How were the alts compared to when we go back to the traditional reds? Was it just simply where they painted just green and sim and they kind of performed like the reds, or was there a different way? The physics were different when the greens were on versus when you had the reds on and the races passed.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. The Indy guys, we're all a bit superstitious, maybe, and I think that's one of the things about iRacing, right? Is like for all the telemetry we do get, there's also a lot that's just a total black box that we can't really see what's going on, and the i5G guys were saying they felt that the greens took longer to heat up. Something was a little different. And I kind of maybe feel the same way. I mean, the only thing is that we've had like tires or track surface patches and stuff since the last time we raced here. So it's a little hard to say, but yeah, definitely what I noticed, at least compared to the last time we ran here, is just you had to be very careful at the start of any stint. The tires took a little bit of time to come in.
Yeah, we saw that snake bite your
anyway.
teammate. At least I was watching the 4 o'clock race yesterday and saw that snake bite your teammate with the new tires. So lesson learned, I guess, the hard way. Any shout outs anyone would say hi to, friends, family, sponsors? I know you always do. So go ahead, little rip. We appreciate you always here every single time you're on the program.
No problem. Yeah, my parents are watching. So thanks,
hey, Mom
guys.
and Dad.
And obviously Satellite, Crane for his help, Dr. Dabber, Ellis Engineering, Moradness. There's probably more. I'm sure Christian can pick up the slack that I missed, and Riot could chime in and smack me if I forgot anyone. So I mean, it was really.
I'll wait until after the show's done for that.
Thanks guys. I mean, it's a blast. I'm glad that you covered this. Now we'll say really quickly, one thing is that the previous slot did have a higher SOF than this.
I noticed that one.
I can walk away chilling this week, but
we still got one more race after this, though. We still got one more race. We'll see if that goes higher than that. But you are the king of the SOF, at least going after 3 races. But man, congratulations! Crane was in chat, so he was rooting you on. He was watching, so the whole team and the whole damn fam was here. So welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Congratulations on P3, and not much time to rest. We're going along. We're going to not Long Beach. We're here at Long Beach. We're going to Barber next week. So we'll see you there.
I'm really excited for that one. I'll see you around. Cheers.
See ya. All right, let's bring up Christian Hilgard. Hey, Christian, Kevin left some sponsors for you to still thank afterwards, so you can thank all the sponsors, and he didn't hit them all, so you'll have some that you can still hit. He left them just for you. But okay, so I was watching the 4 p.m. race yesterday, and I kind of saw your incident with the cold tires after your first pit stop. So I figured you learned a lot since yesterday. But you guys obviously all weekend long at all the 3 races so far have had the pace. You guys have been up at the front. You've had the finishes, with the exception of yesterday, unfortunately, with the cool tires. You came back today, rebounded well, but just really didn't have anything for Kraus. Would you ever have been able to have anything for Kraus, or was he just that much better than everybody else today?
We had nothing for him at all, and I think some of it may be set up, some of it is driving. I think Phil did an incredible job, and we just, there's nothing. The qualifying was okay, but I was just talking to Phil just now, and he said he did not have a clean qualifying lap, and I had a pretty good one, only beat him by just over half a tenth. So I think Phil just is operating on a different level right now, and maybe we have something in the setups. I think, considering the Monday Indy Open race, we did well. We had no pace there, and we found something. We generally struggle on tracks with a lot of slow corners, I've noticed. But yeah, there's probably something there, but I also think even if we're on the same setup, I don't think anyone's beating Phil right now. He's unreal.
Aside from the guy behind the wheel, is there anything? What do you think is the big difference between your setup and the private label Team Hype setup is? What do you think the difference is, that other than, like I said, besides the guy behind the wheel? Do you know?
If I knew, I think our setup was better.
What's your guess? Let's put it that way.
Well, I think he's able to get more rotation with his setup without burning up the rears. Mm-hmm. On Monday, we had no rotation whatsoever, and that's why we were slow. We got more rotation here, and then I started messing with the bars just to try and match Phil's lap times, and I could for a little bit, and then the rear started burning up. So I think we need to figure out how to get more traction and more better tire wear without sacrificing our race pace.
Well, we're on to Barber next, so you'll get another hack at him. Plus, you're going to be back on the more familiar reds than the greens. Did you find the greens any different than the reds when you run them here at the street course?
I'm not sure. I feel like they didn't hang on quite as well as I would expect in qualifying, but in the race they were okay. I burnt them up a little bit at the start of my last stint, and that cost some pace. They're definitely quite sensitive, but I'm not sure they're that different from the reds overall.
Well, P2, nice rebound after what happened in the 4 o'clock race yesterday. Like I said, I was watching him like, oh, there goes Christian just spinning around after cold tires, which made the show note for when we talk about the notes coming to the show. It's like, watch cold tires.
Yeah, I mean, that was just completely a lapse in concentration. It was a mistake, but it was just like I went out, was a bit flustered, had a little bit of a mix-up in the pit with Kevin, and tried to make up some time, pushing on cold tires, and learned my lesson. Don't do that.
But besides that, you rebounded well, got the second step here, going to a track that we probably know that you're pretty good at as well at Barber. Anybody you want to say hi to, shout out to, any sponsors that Kevin may have missed that you want to shout out to, go right ahead. You earned it.
Yeah, I think Kevin covered most of the shout-outs, so I'll just pick up the slack on the sponsors here. Not sure which ones he got, so I'll just go through all of them.
Get them all again.
And of course, Dr. Dabber, we got Moradness, Nemesis Lab, and Ellis Engineering.
All right, well, congratulations on the P2. Don't have much time to wait. We're back at it again next weekend at Barber. We'll see you right there.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, let's bring up Phil here. Hey, Phil, we got you in the booth. You got Antonio, Gary, and Ryan. First things first, I mean, this race, you drove away, pretty much yours. There was a moment that I like to talk about. You're trying to pass a lapped car coming out of the hairpin and almost turned into you. How close was it on your point of view?
Want to be honest, I don't even remember what lap that was. I remember it happening, but I don't remember what lap it was, so I can't look at it for you right now, but yeah, it was a little sketchy for sure, but I don't know. I don't know if I came over into him or he turned more into me, but
so
what's the nature of the hairpin?
True, and that was about the only bit of excitement that we saw for you. There were points that you were racing a lot of lap traffic. Of course, we had a full race of 27, full split of 27 cars. So on a 1.9 mile road course, you're going to run into lap traffic sooner rather than later. But that was about the only time we kind of really saw your race get excited. I mean, talk about your race. Was there any other moments that you could think of? We saw you doing your best General Lee impersonation coming off the bumps there on the curbs on turn 5. You were hitting those really, really hard. Was that part of your setup? Was your setup agreeable to hitting those bumps really hard, or were you just attacking them hard, or what did you discover there that caused you to hit those so hard every lineup, because every lap, because it looked like your car was on the verge of out of control, but you still kept everything together?
I mean, it was definitely survivable through turn 5 on the bumps, and it was definitely quicker in turn 5 through the bumps. But if you missed your line a little bit and got the under tray of the car like right on the biggest curbs, you know, the ones that you're meant to have your inside tire on, not your under tray.
Your under tray, right?
Your under tray, you'd pop the wheelie, and that's probably what you were seeing, because I had like 1 or 2 of those. It was a lot worse on Monday. I improved the bumps a little bit for this race, just because it's a lot longer race. I didn't really want to go as edgy on the setup and kill myself, crash, make a mistake, because it's so easy to do here.
Well, I mean, other than that, any other parts of the race that you want to talk about that you remember, or was it just pretty much, I hate to say this, just standard operating procedure for Team Hype private label?
I mean, yeah, there wasn't really anything else too interesting. Once I got by Christian, it was pretty much traffic and fuel management the rest of the way. Yeah, just another good run in the IS for the private label Team Hype machine.
Moving on to Barber, what's your early thoughts about Barber?
I'm awful at setting up a car for Barber. I'm not particularly good at driving Barber.
Well, watch him win this one, guys. Watch him win this one. He'll.
I don't know. I've been driving Barber since was it 2020 or 2021? I don't remember. Because like the first time I did Indy Elite, it was at Barber, and I've just never got on with figuring out what you do to the car at Barber to make it go fast. But like, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'll be nowhere. But like, I definitely won't have as easy of a time as like the Long Beach today, because yeah, as you alluded to, once I got by Christian, it was pretty much just business as usual.
Well, hopefully this helps you in the points category here. Right now, you're still, or at least coming into the race, you were 4th. Pascal Sticks, the best name in all of iRacing right now, is P1. You're 4th behind Burrell and Hildegard. You finished ahead of them. We're not the biggest strength of field race this week, second biggest. So hopefully you got a little movement there, got you up into the maybe top 3. But we're looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, I didn't run a race before this, so.
Okay. So this is your first race all weekend. Okay.
Yeah, I usually want to run the Friday race, but I probably won't be able to most of the time because Friday usually ends up being the biggest strength of the field just because it's the European split.
Yep.
And like there's a lot of people in Europe, I feel, who want to run this car, but the open SOFs don't really work as well for them because the broadcast is obviously midnight GMT, and if you're further east in England, it's like 1, 2, 3 a.m. So this is really their chance to run this car and run in a competitive environment.
Yeah, well, and I always say the guys in Europe always kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to some of the broadcasts and then the strength of field races. But I agree. Well, congratulations on the win. Any shout outs, any teammates, any loved ones, any sponsors you want to say hi to? Go right ahead.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone at Private Label Team Hype, obviously. Sorry, words are hard. Private Label themselves, Ethica, Gravity Headsets, Racing Radios, all those guys. Connor Harrington's over at Long Beach this week, otherwise he might have joined us today, but he's doing coverage out there for Racing Radios, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, fun race.
Congratulations. We will see you at Barber. I'm sure you're sandbagging at Barber and then win the thing. So we'll see. Congratulations, my man. Good having you on the program. Good seeing you in the race. And then we'll see you in a week.
Yep. Cheers, Gary. Have a good day.
See ya. Joining us in the booth here is Justin Petschauer. Justin getting off his split. Where'd you finish, man?
I started near the back of the field and worked my way. I would have finished a little bit higher. I would have finished somewhere at 9th, 10th, but let's just say I'm a bit of a masochist, and I stepped on myself again and gave myself a speeding penalty.
Hard mode.
But yeah. As the old saying goes, there was 3 instances of chaos in Split 3.
Okay.
It almost reminded me of my days running the NIS fix Split 2 gonna Split 2. In this case, it was Split 3 gonna Split 3. Well, guys basically overshooting the corners, running into each other, you name it. It's just street course chaos, and I love it.
Well, that should do it, guys. Final thoughts. First with Ryan, then Antonio. Final thoughts on the race, and then, of course, early thoughts on going to Barber. You first, Ryan.
Yeah, my first broadcast reviewing Antonio, Gary, and I have to say it was a pleasure, and thanks for having me. Recapping Long Beach, it was a great race, and there was plenty of battles going on, and overall, I think just looking at the drive from Kraus, just a dominating performance, and no one seemed to have an answer to him. And I think Christian Hildegard was the best one to sum it up. Just they had no answer for him, and Kraus, if I was a driver of the day vote, he would be my vote.
Antonio.
Yeah, well, that's it was great having you here, Ryan. Looking forward to the next ones as well. And as for Long Beach, I think we mentioned it at the beginning of the show, it kind of in a typical fashion for it. It's very hard to pass, very hard to make moves, very hard to separate as well. But Phil Kraus just had, everybody, he checked out on everybody. He did a great race, and also really good for the satellite guys, staying as close as they could, but, that ended up being 24 seconds off of him. So, yeah, battles all around. Fuel saving strategy, very much what we typically would see at a place like Long Beach, and again a very iconic track, and a really good spectacle. Unfortunate that we had that issue in the first lap, the opening lap, because we lost like 6 or 7 good cars, and that could have potentially brought a little bit more to the race as a whole. But all in all, it's always so fun to watch IndyCars go around this place. And as for Barber, also a very, very cool track. I really enjoy driving there. But I can see what Phil is alluding to, Phil Kraus there, on how to set up there, because the elevation changes, they can really be super sensitive on the car, and so making a setup that works for both those super fast corners and also those low speed corners that they have, that's going to be certainly a challenge. And it's also a place where passing is difficult, but there are maybe 3 good passing opportunities, so we'll see how it races. again, Barber is very, very fun to drive around the place. So we'll see how it translates to the race next week.
All right, that'll do it. Track cams provided today by Track Cams for Gourmets. Check them out, trackcam22.com for cams for your version of iRacing as well. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Long Beach, Philip Kraus with the runaway win. And the Team Satellite guys finishing second and third there with Hilgard and Burrell, P2 and P3. Join Antonio, Ryan, and myself again next week for round 4 of the IndyCar iRacing Series as the drivers and teams move to Birmingham and the Barber Motorsports Park. Coverage should begin approximately around 2 p.m. Eastern. Again, remember, it's 2:00 p.m. Eastern. And as always, check YouTube. Check our channel on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst for the official iRacing or the official iRacing schedule for the correct time in your area. And everything you need right here is on the channel. We love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. And we thank you for watching and making us part of your Saturdays during NTT IndyCar race weeks each and every Saturday. So now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy one, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. I want to thank everybody that joined us in chat. Thank you very much. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, ring the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of Race First iRacing programming. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. Race First, Saturday IndyCar iRacing Series top split coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter via our Twitter handles right at the bottom, if I can talk. That will be updated here soon with Ryan's, and we'll get new. We got new graphics coming soon, so that's just the older one. So it still works. There's Race First. There's myself, Estonia. Normally Nick's here, but Nick couldn't make it, so he's always part of the display, anyways. So there's Nick if you want to add him as well. So for El Patron, Antonio Estrada, Ryan Walker, everyone at Race First, and also Justin Petschauer, he's here with us. I'm Gary Gazzo saying to all, thanks for watching, and to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Make sure to catch the real stars and cars of the NTT IndyCar Series this Sunday from Long Beach. Follow all the action on the Peacock app, the USA Network, or IndyCar Radio on Sirius XM Channel 215. Be sure to check your local listings for the correct broadcast times and availability in your area. You can catch us again next week for Barber for the next race of the IndyCar iRacing Series. Have a good one, everyone.
Cool. That was fun.
So, you guys ready for a good one? Where the hell's the there it is. Looking for the broadcast general. This is one way to kill time under caution at Talladega.
Oh, eating a banana? Well,
I mean, that's one way to do it.
Well,
yeah. I mean, I've seen cigars being lit. I've seen cigarettes being lit.
You know, the maybe he could throw it out at some point, and you know, be like Mario Karting around.
Yeah, Mario Kart.